bought me a Pinto when I graduated from high school because they thought it would be a perfect car for college. And my sister agrees.
Right, I think it's perfect too. And my sister agrees.
And my sister agrees. Mine too.
Mine too!
Well, I guess you can call us N8 Pinto Sorority.
Join the Pinto family. The 1980 Pinto with 40 standard features. Compare Pinto. It may be the best small car value in America.
We've always wanted to be on TV. Big
For those parents who realize that $500 isn't too much to spend to expand their child's world, Radio Shack has the perfect gift.
The TRS-80 computer, the most significant investment a parent can make. Programs for your child's education or your business, finance, and home use. Let your children discover tomorrow's technology today. The TRS-80, the biggest name in little computers. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
They're tied for that NFC lead, and you know who they're tied with?
Who's
Wilbert
that?
Montgomery.
Washington's doing a job on Montgomery today. Philadelphia has no points in the third period.
Well, the stats in this game all in favor of the Saints, not only the scoreboard, but Sonny, rushing-wise, the Saints have 103 yards, the Lions 34 passing, New Orleans with 101, and the Lions have a -2 yards.
Minus 2 yards passing?
12 first downs for the Saints, 1 for the Lions. Muncie now has 72 yards on 13 carries. And it's a 3rd and goal now, just outside the 3, almost the 4-yard line. 7-0 New Orleans. Third down conversions. That's interesting. Very well done thus far by New Orleans. Manning off to Muncie. He's not going to get in, and it's a 4th and goal. And Garo Yepremian will be coming in. You got to give the Lions a lot of credit.
A lot of credit. I tell you something. You just read those stats and saw what a mismatch it was in stats, but the Lions are still in this football game.
They keep hanging in there. Things could happen for him. Here's Yepremian. Now he has hit 3 of 3. This year he's hit 19 in a row. He broke the record in Candlestick Park. He kicked an 18-yard field goal. He's hit one of 18, 32, and 38 yards. And this is going to be a 21-yard attempt. Ed Burns will hold. John Hill will snap it. Yepremian's kick is on the way. And this little guy has hit 20 in a row over the course of the last 2 seasons. What an acquisition he's been since the injury to Russell Erxleben. And so it's a 10-0 lead now for the Saints. We understand that Erxleben will be back next week.
What are they going to do with Yepremian?
I think they'll keep him. The thinking is now and have Russell Erxleben do the punting. But they have a fine punter in Rick Partridge. Seems like every year New Orleans has a lot of decisions to make in their kicking game. Last year was certainly that case. They went through all kinds of field goal kickers.
With this type of offense, you don't need a punter. Pick up first downs.
10-0 after that 21-yard field goal. Boy, Garo must have been squirming earlier this year. He had the NFL record tied and had no place to kick. All of a sudden, a job opened up, and he's taken advantage of it. 4 for 4 this year.
In the third quarter, Gary, Baltimore and Buffalo are tied at 7 apiece. The Bears are leading Minnesota. That's in the second quarter, 14-3 now.
Here comes a man who makes neckties, Yepremian, kicking off deep, and Calicut will take it to the 4. Ken Calicut out to the 20, to the 25, to the 27-yard line. Tripped up that time. Brooks Williams is a reserve tight end. And so the Lions, who very gritty on that last play, hanging on to allow only 3 points, have 1:06 to move the football. And a -2 yards passing thus far. That was a 25-yard return.
Well, they have to get untracked offensively.
Well, looking ahead now, next week, as we go into the second half of the season. How about that Dallas-Pittsburgh game, a rematch of the Super Bowl?
And Pittsburgh's getting healthy again.
We'll have an NFL doubleheader. A mishandled snap. Goldstein gets back on top of it. Let's look at some of the other games next week, Sonny, in that NFL doubleheader. Green Bay, Miami, Chicago, San Francisco. I tell you, Philadelphia, Cincinnati will be a good football game.
That's got to be Philadelphia.
Be sure to check your local listings for the games and times in your area. Goldstein back to throw. And Rick Kane let it hit his shoulder pad and get away from it.
Hit him in a bad spot, Jerry.
What do you say to somebody like that when they do that to you?
I'd rather not say on the air here, but you know what you try to do. I'd come back and throw to him again. I would have tried to embarrass him into catching one.
Well, Kane has had trouble hanging on to the football. He's fumbled a lot, but he's a very tough goal line runner. They've used him a lot inside that 5-yard line. Third down now, 11.
When they come back in the huddle after that, you said, did I throw it in a bad spot for you?
Goldstein to Kane. Kane's going to try to redeem himself, and he's not going to make the first down. He's out to the 35. Joe Fetterspiel over there. That brings up a 4th down. Lions will kick.
I tell you what, I think the Saints going to stop the clock here because they'd like to get a possession again. They get a good return. They're going to have a chance to get on the scoreboard again.
Well, the Saints had 3 timeouts to use, and they have used one of them. With 38 seconds remaining in this first half of play. Look at Ed O'Neill now. I don't know what his problem is, but he's discussing something. Ben Dreith indicating the timeout against New Orleans. Very wise timeout, Sonny.
I think so. You know, they want to get the football again. They get a good return here. They'll have the ball in pretty good field position. Maybe a chance for your premium field goal.
There's Dick Nolan. And he's saying, hey, watch for what? The fake punt. Did you see that?
Well, one of my ex-coaches down there, too, Ed Hughes.
Swider, who will come in, has 3 punts thus far for a 39.3 average. But you saw Nolan thinking they might fake it. And so the Lions, who finally got out past their own 33-yard line. They're out to 35. That's about their deepest penetration. They've had a tough time getting that ball out of their own end of the field. Here's Monty back for this punt. He's 3rd in the NFC and return. Boy, they're coming after him.
They might try to block it.
Big rush put on by Gray. Monty at the 30-yard line. He'll try to get out of bounds. No, he's going to be dropped at the 31-yard line. And so the Saints, with 28 seconds left, will have the football. A 36-yard kick that time by Swider. And there's our score. Saints leading at 10-0.
They got time. 28 seconds may not seem like a long time.
With this football team, there's always time.
Well, they can pick up a big first down here. Maybe get the ball close enough.
Chandler, Ike Harris flanked out. Archie Manning from the 31-yard line. Big rush put on, setting up the screen to Muncy, and Muncy's hit immediately. Doug Jones is over there. And Jones not been there, Sonny. There was all kinds of room over there.
Yeah, but that was a big play defensively. Good play that time by the Lion defense.
And now the Saints may be content to just let that time get away. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to be content to take a 10-0 halftime lead into the dressing room. So New Orleans, who's won 3 of their last 4, who would like to move to the 500 mark with a win here today, with a 10-0 lead, a game of turnovers thus far. We've had 4 interceptions in this first half, 2 each, as the Lions head to the...
Age nut. I checked all the figures, and I got a Ford Fairmont. Yeah, 4-cylinder mileage is even higher than last year's. And do they have a 6-cylinder? With standard 4-speed transmission, no 6, foreign or domestic, beats Fairmont's estimated MPG. Datsun's 4-speed doesn't beat it. Toyota doesn't beat it. Citation, the GMX cars don't beat it.
Harold!
Aren't you glad you bought a Fairmont?
You bet your gas can.
The right idea for today.
Natural light beer, please. Actually, I guess you're supposed to say, give me a natural or make it a natural. Okay, so I'm a maverick. But, you know, I just walked out of a bar because they didn't have natural light beer.
You must have been humidified.
So was I.
I empathize with you. You know, Kevin, without the smooth, clean taste of this light beer is downright unnatural.
You know, that's so true. That's why I came in here for a natural. There you go. I just said natural. It goes to show you. I guess you hear something so often, you naturally just follow along like a flock of sheep. Monkey see, monkey do.
I'm Cheryl Teague. I feel at home in front of the camera. But behind the camera, I don't know the difference between a lens opening and a Broadway opening. So I rely on my Olympus OM10. My trusty OM10 gets great shots automatically. My OM10 has the smart little red light that tells me when it's okay to shoot. Oh, it's okay to shoot. Hold it, fellas. With Olympus OM10, great shots automatically.
You saw it on CBS Sports, Super Bowl 10. It's the Lynn Swann Show as he pulls down everything Terry Bradshaw throws in his direction to beat Dallas. Sunday, Dallas visits Pittsburgh in one of 3 regional games. New Orleans takes on Washington and Chicago roars into San Francisco. The doubleheader games feature Green Bay and Miami, the New York Giants tackling Los Angeles, and Philadelphia clashing with Cincinnati. Check local listings for the games and times in your area. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Back live in New York, I'm Brent Musburger. Roy Green has just returned a kickoff 108 yards for a touchdown for the St. Louis Cardinals against the Dallas Cowboys. Here's what's going on now around the league. Tampa Bay snapping back after losing to leading the Packers 14-3 in the fourth. Key game in the NFC, 17-0. The Redskins are going to hand the Eagles their second defeat of the season. Baltimore and Buffalo. Burt Jones started, ran in from 1 yard out. Ferguson came back 21 yards. Curtis Brown, they're tied in the fourth. Cincinnati snapping back, leading Cleveland 20-7. Anderson has passed for 2 scores, 10 yards to Bass, 9 yards to Curtis. Pete Johnson, 1 yard out for Cincinnati, their third touchdown. New England leading Miami 14-13. The Dolphins had gone ahead by 13 points, and then back came the Patriots. Horace Ivory from a yard out, and Cunningham from a yard away. The Jets leading Oakland by the narrowest of margins, as Ken Stabler continues to march the Raiders up and down the field, but can't get them into the end zone. Wesley Walker has caught 2 scoring passes, 21 and 22 yards away. Chicago 14, Minnesota 10. Walter Payton 54 yards, a pass to Brian Baschnagel for the touchdown. Avellini hit Payton for the other one. And New Orleans, of course, leading Detroit at the half, the game you're watching by 10 points. Now the contest I mentioned. 17-13, the Cowboys over the Cardinals, but the story here is a return by Roy Green, coming right up the middle for the Cardinals from 8 yards in. Coaches usually will say, anything beyond 3, forget about it. Let's take it on the 20. And he made a great move there near midfield and then simply outran the rest of the pursuing Cowboys, so the Cardinals continue to play the Cowboys very, very tight. Irv, you've been checking the record book on this story. Have we got a record on that return? Can you find that?
The old record was 106 yards, set by Al Carmichael from the Green Bay Packers versus Chicago Bears October 7th, 1956 was 106. The new record now for kickoff return is 108 yards, and you just saw it.
Al Carmichael, what a great name for the past. Hey, who's the #1 team in college football? Was USC, we said. Was Texas, we said. Now we got to have somebody else. Let's check in on Alabama. How did they do yesterday against Tennessee? Well, in the early going, they had nothing but trouble. Alabama fumbled. Tennessee recovered. 3rd and 7 now at the 11-yard line. Jimmy Streeter of the Volunteers throws to Ingram for the touchdown, 7-0. Tennessee marches right back down to the Bama 29. 2nd and 8. Streeter again hits Simpson 15 yards, and there is the first down. And the touchdown by Streeter on the keeper, and the Bears saying, wait a minute, we're not supposed to be down to this team by 17. And the Bears boys regroup. Tipped a pass by Streeter here, and Robbie Jones came up with the interception. Now 1st and 10, and Stedman Shealy going to go right down the middle. Watch Timmy Travis, and Alabama gets on the scoreboard, 17-7, and then in the second half, 3rd and 5 at the Tennessee 6, quarterback Don Jacobs pitches to Major Ogilvy, 17-14. 2nd and 10 at the Alabama 47, and the draw play by Jackson picks up 16 yards at the first down. This is the winning drive. 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. Jacobs keeps it, goes in, 27-17. Alabama comes back against Tennessee. That's good enough for us. Let's rank the Crimson Tide up there on top. We'll make Nebraska 2nd, Arkansas 3rd, Ohio State. I want to show you Ohio State in a moment. USC once tied by Stanford, now 5th. Then Houston, Texas, Oklahoma. Grambling is that good. And Florida State and Navy are tied for that 10th spot. All right, let me show you. Ohio State. Earl Bruce replaces Woody Hayes. You think it might take the Buckeyes some time to adjust to a new coach. Took him about 5 minutes to adjust to this guy. Watch Cal Murray, the I-back for the Buckeyes, take the hand from Schleister. Fullback cuts down his man. Murray goes to daylight. It's a 52-yard run against Wisconsin for Ohio State. Schleister then keeps it himself, scampers in. It was 7-0 on the 4-yard run. And Schleister can pass. He's got a nice reception coming up here by Hunter. 17 yards in the touchdown. It was 14-0. And oh, that Buckeye defense yesterday. Block a field goal, dash over there and recover it. Then jar the fumble, guess with the recovery. And then Ray Ellis step up and intercept one, dash in for the score. And it was 59-0. Ohio State doing it easily. Now, next week, Ohio State's got a good game. Michigan State coming up. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Meet Dr. Charlie Nichols, the world's greatest operator. But when he meets the girl of his dreams, she wants him to stop making house calls. The CBS Wednesday movie at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
This is CBS.
The Jets have just scored again, so they lead Oakland by at least 20-13. Ricky Bell has rushed for 154 yards for Tampa Bay. Only 5 minutes left. The Bucs are going to win. The biggest traffic jam today in New York City was caused by cars not at all, but by 14,000 marathoners who began their assault on 26 miles, 385 yards. There were 16 runners in that field who were 70 years old or older. The oldest was 80 years old, Noel Johnson from San Diego. The youngest, 9 years old. The record for this marathon, 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 9 seconds, Bill Rogers. And that man right there, his name is Kurt Pfeffer. He took the lead after an hour. He'd been training out in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. And it took Rogers 23 miles to stalk him down. And stalk him down, Rogers would finally do. The best woman in the field was Greta Waitz. She was last year's female winner. She set a world record then, and she totally dominated the women again today, finishing 2:27:33, a full 10 minutes ahead of the woman's second-place finisher. And there is Greta right there in the pigtails, 21 water stops along the way. And Greta enjoyed this one enormously. Rogers, of course, is one of the greatest marathoners of all time. He had won the New York Marathon in each of the last 3 years, and here he is on the lead. But he wants to check and see if Pfeffer might not have one final burst. And also, he wanted to see where Frank Shorter was, but Shorter was way back, winding up 7th today in 2:16:15. And then it was a race against the clock. Could Rogers nail down a new record? He would not, but it was still marvelous time. 2:11:42, the winning time. Pfeffer hanging on for second in 2:13:08. Shorter's 7th place time, 2:16:15. Congratulations to Bill Rogers. He has won the New York City Marathon for the 4th straight year. Irv, how about some highlights now?
You talked about Ricky Bell in Tampa Bay. Ricky Bell, as you indicated, has carried the ball 25 times today so far, gained 154 yards, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lead the Green Bay Packers late in the 4th quarter by a score of 14-3. And here's one of Ricky's plays earlier in the game in the first quarter. Scampers around his right end for a nice gain, setting up a scoring opportunity for his club. And Doug Williams, number 12, goes to Bell again, this time through the air, touchdown. And Tampa Bay took a 7-0 lead. Doug Williams pitching out to Ricky Bell, number 42, going around his right end, gets down near the goal line, doesn't quite make it. Doug Williams goes in a quarterback sneak. Boom, he's in. 14-0 Tampa Bay. David Whitehurst tries to get the Packers back, and it looked like they might have had a touchdown here, but watch what happens. Throws the ball to James Lofton, number 80, who goes right along the sideline. He's pushed there and touches the sideline, so he's out of bounds. So an apparent Green Bay touchdown was not to be. So late in the 4th quarter, the score right now is 14-3 Tampa Bay, and they're going to have their 6th victory in a couple of minutes, Brent.
Irv Cross, George Allen just said, you've got the game won. Don't make any big mistakes. Just hang on. You know who he's talking about, the Washington Redskins. They're going to wrap up a victory today over the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's call it the home court advantage in the NFL. Watch here. Benny Malone crashing across for the first touchdown for the Skins. John Riggins got off a marvelous run in this game. And on this one, it was brute strength. Crashing down to the 4. And 2 plays later, Joey Theismann with Dick Vermeil looking on. Theismann scrambled in against Vermeil's defense, and Dick not happy about the fact that somebody over there in the corner didn't come up and cut that play off. Let's send you back to the remote.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer who bring you the better idea, cars and trucks for the 80s. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart. And by Kmart Automotive Service Centers, where quality car products are Kmart priced.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Ladies and gentlemen, protect your engines. The same way 31 out of 35 of this year's Indy 500 drivers do in their everyday driving with Valvoline motor oil. Because stop-and-go driving can punish your engine as much as 500 miles of speedway driving can punish an IndyCar's engine. And Valvoline can take the heat, protects your engine, helps make it last. Ladies and gentlemen, protect your engines with Valvoline. It's not just for winning races.
From the people who brought you Die-Hard batteries, Road Handler tires, and Steady Rider shock absorbers comes the Sears Muzzler. The aluminized muffler that's only $17.99. It's so tough, Sears promises the Muzzler will last as long as you own your American-made car, or return it for refund or replacement free. And if Sears installed it, they'll install the new one free. The Muzzler, only $17.99. Installation and additional parts extra at Sears.
Hi, I'm Dick Butkus. Just a few years ago, I was the middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears. I loved playing pro football, but my biggest thrill came with my election into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm very proud to be a part of this up-to-the-minute sports showplace, where the total pro football story is told in many exciting ways. The Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio is open every day of the year except Christmas. I hope you'll visit here soon.
I'm Rocky Blair of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm here with some new friends at the University of Florida. You know, a lot of people talk about alcohol abuse, but these young people are doing something about it. They started a club called Bacchus that helps them learn to make responsible decisions about the proper use or non-use of beverage alcohol. You can start a Bacchus Club, too. For a free booklet that tells you how, write ECS Box 1197, Washington, D.C. 20013. Get a Bacchus Club going, and everybody comes up a winner.
Yeah! The proceeding was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. 10-0, our halftime score. The Saints with the advantage. As really in this first half of play, Sonny Jurgensen, the Saints have lost some very good opportunities. They had the ball down there a couple other times and didn't come away with any points.
That's true, and on the other hand, the Lions have not been able to generate any offense at all. They're going to have to do something. We may see another quarterback change in the second half.
In this first half, Goldstein didn't really have the kind of day he wanted. 2 of 9 for 16 yards, and for a while they had a -2 yards passing. As you look at the stats, quite obviously New Orleans dominated that first half of play.
Well, he did, but you know, Jerry Goldstein didn't get a lot of help offensively either. He was under a lot of pressure. Dorney had a tough job in blocking Lois Grooms, who was pressuring him throughout the first half, and also he had a couple of passes dropped, so you can't put all the blame on Jerry Goldstein.
They had 2 sacks in that first half, the Saints did, both of them by Lois Grooms. And in the first down situation, the Lions didn't get that first down till way late in the second quarter of play. In fact, they didn't have the ball out past their own 33-yard line for some time. Time and possession, can you believe that?
About that. 22 minutes to 7 and -2 yards passing. They just have to get untracked offensively to give their defense, you know, they got to inspire their defense to play better. They're still in this football game. They can win this football game.
That's Benny Ricardo. We haven't seen him. He'll be kicking off. He's been a very fine field goal kicker for this Detroit Lions team. I ran into his parents. They've traveled down here to see this game. They live in the San Diego area. The furthest the Lions win in the first half, Jimmy Burns, our statistician, tells us 35-yard line, their own 35. Back deep, Monty, Wayne Wilson, and Jack Holmes. And Holmes is going to bring it out. Holmes out to the 20-yard line, to the 24, and New Orleans will set it up there. We had 4 interceptions in the first half. 2 by the Lions, 2 by the Saints. And there is the rushing in the first half. Muncie was 72. Chuck Muncie off to a great year. He set a record for the Saints of 811 yards in 1976, and he should break that easily. if he continues the way he is. He came in here with 527 for the year.
And you're talking about they stopped themselves in the first half. The Saints did. They're a fun football team to watch. I like their offensive concept.
Those stats would be very impressive if Archie hadn't thrown those 2 interceptions. Ike Harris in motion. From the 24, they give to Galbraith, and Galbraith runs into some company, doesn't he? That company provided by William Gay, number 79, a former tight end. He was a tight end last year, drafted by Denver, and now they've moved him to defensive end.
As a tight end, he was Bill Gay. Now he's turned to defense. He's changed his name to William. Boy, he makes a good play here.
Also help arrive from Cleveland Elam, number 72. Loss on the play, 2nd and 12. There's Tony Galbraith, 20 yards. He's had to work hard for him. Ike Harris comes in motion. Manning, play action, bootlegs it. He cuts up the field, and I don't know. Do you think that was the way it was drawn?
Nah, he didn't fool anybody. Gay came, did not, he forced him. He got good penetration. Watch this, you'll see. Archie's trying to fool everybody. He does a pretty good job of acting, but he doesn't fool Mr. Gay. Look at this. Whoops. Uh-oh. Got to ad-lib a little bit. Ducks back up and has to run with the ball.
Well, it's 3rd down now, 11 yards. They gained one of those 2 back. Manning in the first half was not sacked by the Lions, who last year had 55, second best in the NFL. Back to throw, Manning again, breaking down the protection intended for Muncie. And Manning is buried back inside the 10-yard line by Doug English.
Boy, do they ever like to rush your pass in? They did then effectively.
They had 21 sacks coming into this game, but one reason the sacks are down, Sonny, is they're triple teaming Bubba Baker a lot because one of their fine, outstanding linemen, John Woodcock, has been out with a back injury.
Good defensive football team.
Calicut will go back, and to kick will be Partridge. He had 1 punt in the first half for 37 yards. He hits another fine kick. Calicut coming up on the gun, and it's a 43-yard line. He had it full steam when he was catching the football. Good field position for Detroit. In fact, their best field position of this football game. A 38-yard kick, setting it up at the 42-yard line.
We got a different quarterback coming in. I think Jeff Comlow is coming in to play the second half.
Comlow has done a pretty good job. Let's remind everybody now, tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, the award winner. And then laughs are on the house at Archie Bunker's place, followed by One Day at a Time. The comedy continues on Alice, followed by the Jeffersons, and then Trapper John M.D. So the quarterback is Comlow, 9th-round draft pick out of Delaware. Gives to Horace King, and he's straightened up by Grooms. Hey, Grooms playing pretty good football game.
He's had an outstanding day. Not only rushing the passer, but playing the run also.
Let's talk about Comlow a little bit. There's his stats. They say the one thing that is really interesting about him is his poise. He never seems to get rattled back there. And he is the guy that they figured they'd bring along slowly. And then all of a sudden, Danielson and Joe Reed go down, and he's it.
Monty Clark is grasping for straws, trying to find someone to generate a little offense for the Lions.
So from the 42, 2nd down and 10, scrambling out of there is Comlow, and he had it picked off. Who got it? Dexter Bussey. No, he was out of bounds. David Hill couldn't hang on. Bussey caught it on the rebound, but he was out of bounds when he did it.
Oh, what a play this is. Watch Comlow. Again, a good pass rush. Alois Grooms goes back in. He jumps outside of the pocket, throws the ball, makes a good throw here, bounces off the chest of Hill, and look who's there. Dexter Bussey comes down with it, but they say he's out of bounds. 1 foot hit that sideline.
One other thing, if you ever go out of bounds and come back in, you're an ineligible receiver.
That's true.
We've been told that Charlie Weaver, the right side linebacker, sprained knee. He will not return for the remainder of this game. He was hurt early in this game. Comlow on a 3rd and 10. Washington, and he tries to catch the rebound.
Never seen so many balls bouncing on passes up in the air.
He threw that ball a long way.
He did. Very difficult throw because the ball has to travel so far, almost intercepted. He didn't get a chance to take a real good stride in throwing the ball. Didn't get a lot on it. He made an accurate throw, though, almost picked off.
Eric Felton was the guy that had a chance at the interception. And now to kick will be Swider. 4 punts, 38.5 average in the first half. Kamlo kind of creating some fireworks. One of those passes should have been caught by David Hill. Big rush put on. Fine kick by Swider. Motti at the 15-yard line. And he's out to the 23, and the Saints will have the football there. So Kamlo coming in, stirring them up a little bit. I'm sure giving Monty Clark and the Lions some new hope as they trail in this game 10-0.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
How you holding up? I'm all right. You want to go for 10 miles? If we make it, I'll buy you a beer. If we make it, I'll buy you a Lowenbrow.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Announcing a gas-saving breakthrough from Ford Motor Company. The first and only automatic overdrive transmission in any American-made car. When your car reaches about 40, Ford's new transmission automatically shifts into overdrive. The result? Your engine runs 1/3 slower for increased highway fuel efficiency. It's one of many engineering improvements that help 1980 Ford, Mercury, and Lincoln cars average over 120 more estimated highway miles than last year on 20 gallons of gas. That's incredible. Automatic overdrive at Ford, Mercury, and Lincoln dealers.
Next Sunday, it's a CBS NFL doubleheader. Check local listings for the games and times in your area. A super Sunday of football. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
42-yard kick that time by Swider. Hang time 4 seconds. And look at Tampa Bay.
Boy, Doug Williams is back 21-3 now. That's in the fourth quarter, too.
They're trying to go 6-2 for the year. The Saints with the football, a first down at their own 24. They lead it 10-0. Ken Fantetti was hurt on that last play. He's been taken out. We have Brooks in there along with Harrell and O'Neal at the linebacking spots. Here's Muncie going wide. Giving chase was William Gay again. Muncie's forward progress out to the 28-yard line.
Well, I tell you, the Lion defense is playing the run. They're 14th in the league, but in the conference, but they're doing a good job here because their defense and a strong offensive football team, a team that does run the ball well, and they're playing it defensively quite well right now, don't you say?
I would say that was a pretty good move, moving Gay to defense. He gets around out there. They want him to gain some weight. He only weighs 225, 6'3", and that will come in time, but you can see the quickness he had on that play.
He did then, chasing Muncie down.
Gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Manning, play action, far side, got Chandler. Chandler to the 30, 35, first down to the 37, and is he quick?
Well, what an exciting player, huh? Very simple pass. It's a little quick screen to the outside receiver. You see how quickly Manning throws the ball. Makes a low throw, but he comes back toward the middle of the field to pick up blocking because all his blocking's coming from that in that direction, and he picks up enough for the first down.
9-yard pickup. Out to the 37-yard line. We saw Chandler earlier this year, Sonny, catch a 52-yard pass, one of the most remarkable grabs of the year. He seems to come up with 1 or 2 of those every game.
When you got somebody that quick, you'd like to get the football to him, let him do something with it.
He has 5 catches today for 49 yards. Double fake that time by Manning. Time to throw, deflected by Gay. That was number 79, Gay, who reached up there. That ball was up for grabs.
Boy, he had Henry, excuse me, Gary, he had Henry Childs wide open this time. Look at this. It's kind of a casual type throw, isn't it? Little play action fake. He's just going to kind of drop the ball over. Look how easily he's standing there throwing that thing. But the ball gets deflected. Up for grabs is right, almost intercepted.
That was Harrell, 51, along with Ed O'Neal converging on the football. 2nd down, 10. Gay at 6'3" had those hands up high. Kind of a gritty Lion team. They've been backed into a corner all day, but they're coming out fighting.
And they're hanging tough.
Manning on the 2nd and 10. Over the middle. Muncie to the 45, the 50, first down to the 48-yard line. Luther Bradley and John Brooks converged to make the tackle, but Muncie just very quickly had that first down.
Boy, the backs coming out of the backfield, crossing pattern You see Galbraith going one way, Muncie coming the other. They cross. The linebackers got confused by the Lions. They pick up another first down.
16-yard pickup. Ball just outside the 47 of Detroit. 10 minutes remaining in this third quarter.
I think they've completed that play about 4 times, that same pass play. The Lions have yet to stop.
There's Motti. Like to see him shut this one off. As now the Saints getting some field position. Far side, Ike Harris. Hit immediately that time by James Hunter, but Harris with the catch. Ike Harris, one of those guys you don't hear a lot about. He had 17 catches coming in here. But when he played with the Cardinals, he had 52 catches one year, 40 catches for the Saints. Very consistent, reliable receiver. I think we're going to have a Washington-Philadelphia score coming up.
It's 17-7 in the fourth quarter now. Philadelphia finally getting on the scoreboard.
Boy, is that going to be tight in the East now if they hang on there?
It is. There you see the score. Looks like they were trying to work on James Hunter that time because he's a free safety playing cornerback today, but he made a good play that time.
2nd and 6. Manning, big pressure put on by Bubba Baker, trying to hit Muncie. He got Muncie, but Muncie's drilled immediately by John Brooks. Boy, Bubba Baker hit Manning, and he's all the way back at the 35-yard line.
Oh, what a good play defensively. A little screen pass. You see Muncie checking across, number 42, checking, going in the screen, but Baker was in hot pursuit of Archie Manning. But Brooks made a fine play defensively.
We've been told by Jim Silman, our director, there's 2 minutes left in that Eagle-Redskins game.
All right, Washington.
That would be what, 5 and 2 for both of those teams?
6 and 2,
I'm sorry. Third down, 9, a gain of 1 on that last play. We have played 8 games after today. Back to throw, Manning. Muncie puts a move on to the 45-yard line, but it's going to bring up a 4th down. Doug Jones, James Harrell over there. Lions are flying around out there right now.
Boy, they're playing good defense. All they need to do is get something generated offensively. Still in this football game, a long way to go.
Archie discussing things with Dick Nolan on the near side. He's had to do a lot of running in this game.
For his life, too.
Luther Blue and Ken Callicutt go back to the 10-yard line. This is Partridge. Spiraling kick. He may get a corner out of this, too. He's going to get a very good roll. It's inside. Hey, they didn't kill it, though. I believe it made it into the end zone. It did. They had every opportunity to keep that ball in the field of play. It got away from them. And so they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. A good opportunity goes by.
This is the Shield America Trust, shielding your car from more than rust. This is the sign of complete car carriages. Zebart dealers everywhere. Zebart, look for the shield, look for the Zebart shield. This is the shield of quality, backed by a lifetime warranty. Great new protection wherever you are for as long as you own your car. Zebart, look for the shield, look for the Zebart shield.
Some guys never learn. They're still taking it on the chin. Gotcha. Norelco offers the Norelco rotary razor. Not 1 or 2 blades, but 36 blades inside 3 adjustable floating heads and a unique shaving angle for a very close shave without a nick or cut. So say hello to the Norelco rotary razor and say goodbye to Gotcha.
Chuck Muncie, who's been having a big day, was shaken up on that last series.
Looks like he's checking his left side some way. Looks like he's in a little pain there, doesn't it?
Excuse me, Sonny. Muncie has 76 yards in this game on 15 carries. He's also caught 5 passes for 28 yards. At the 20-yard line, the Lions with the ball. Horace King comes out of there. Lions have had some very good play by their defense. Now their offense has got to start producing. Derlin Moore making the stop. There's Comlow. He is the man that started the second half, as Jerry Goldstein went the entire first half, hit only 2 of 9 passes.
Like Goldstein was, Comlow was putting some notes in his socks there or something, huh? I think he has some notes or something.
That or maybe a rosin bag like you use in baseball. Kamlo coming in here, hitting 49% of his passes, 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. 2nd and 7. Dexter Bussey, and Bussey very close to the first down. Came out of there in a hurry. Ray Brown, the strong safety. Looks like they're going to be about a yard short of the first down.
The flex defense of the Saints, they found a little gap in it right here. Some good blocking right there. Good blocking up front. Give Dorney and Terry a lot of credit. Moved him out of there then. Picks up where were they? Very close to a first down, aren't they?
Bussey moved ahead of Mel Farr to become 3rd on the Lions rushing list. 3rd down, a yard to go. They like to run right behind Boldinger and Dorney. That's the best side of their offensive line. Kamlo rolling out. A surprise play. David Hill's got it. And he's out of bounds at the 40. And boy, that is kind of a surprise on a 3rd and 1. And they got away with it.
Good call. I like the call. But they haven't had a lot of success running the football. 3rd short yardage. Good time to throw the football. Everybody gets in very tight. They had a lot of pressure on him. He makes a good throw on the move here. And if he just steps out right there, if David Hill does not step out, he's got a long run down the sidelines.
Out to the 41-yard line. So Hill, who dropped one earlier, catches one. He now has 23 with that one. This guy had 53 catches last year. You know who was tied with him in that department? Henry Childs of the Saints. They both had 53. Play action by Kamlo. Far side wide open and out of bounds of the catches Fred Scott. And that will be another first down. And Kamlo has put some new life into this Detroit Lion offense.
And boy, did he make a good throw then. You see, he was reaching down again. I think he's got notes.
We have a final now, Sonny. The Redskins defeated the Eagles 17-7.
Big win for them. Being a conference game, a division game, and it puts them in a tie again.
And Washington will be playing host to these very same Saints at RFK Stadium next Sunday. We understand that Chuck Muncie sustained a bruised midsection. He should return. There they are. They're taping him. The Lions on the move now, trailing 10-0. Kamlo back. Pressure put on. That one's going to be outside. Tommy Myers, the foot races on. Tommy Myers, who already this year has 3 interceptions, picked off his 4th. He took it in. A big turnaround in this game.
Well, he saw it perfectly. He plays it. It's a screen pass. You see the pressure Kamlo was under. Myers comes right across, picks it clean. It's all over with. What a good play by Myers. Excellent play. That's his 4th of the year. Good pressure on Kamlo that time. That made it possible. He's trying to find Bussey. They had the blitz on. He was in the right spot at the right time.
Well, the last time the Saints returned an interception for a touchdown was by Myers last year of 97 yards against Minnesota. As a point after by Garo Yepremian makes it a 17-0 game. As Kamlo was pressured by Bettersfield, threw that ball up for grabs, and Myers, he took over from there.
The more aerodynamic shape a vehicle has, the easier it slips through the air. And that's what happened to this pickup truck, announcing the first new truck of the 80s, the new Ford. It's aerodynamically designed, so it's more slippery than last year, has less drag, with the best gas mileage rating of any American-built pickup. And there's all that Ford-built toughness, twin I-beam suspension, and big payloads, too. Ford, aerodynamically designed for the fuel needs of the 80s. Built. Ford Tough.
A great deal of time and care go into the production of a fine play, just as they go into the making of a fine wine. Paul Masson's Rheincastle. The taste is smooth, flavorful, delicious. Paul Masson wines taste so good because they're made with such care. What Paul Masson said nearly a century ago is still true today. We will sell no wine before it's time.
It's a CBS Sports Special. Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern, see the 1979 Turf Classic live. You'll say, You saw it on CBS Sports.
There's the final, 17-7. Both those teams tied for second place right now in the NFC East with 6-2 records, pending the outcome of that St. Louis-Dallas game. You were just pointing out, Sonny, I mentioned that was the first interception return since last year by a Saint. That's the first touchdown the defense has scored for New Orleans this year.
That's right. You got a lot of touchdowns, all offensively.
Ken Callicutt will bring it out now for the Detroit Lions. Out to the 25, the 30, to the 33-yard line. There's a flag on the play.
Well, we got a second, Gary. You know, we've had another record set today, and Roy Green from the Cardinals, he ran a kickoff return back like 106 yards.
106 or 108?
I think 108 yards. 106 was the record, right?
Right.
And he returns 108 yards.
Against, of all people, Dallas, who prides themselves on their special teams. So Green, a rookie. And there is the halftime on it, 17-13. Al Carmichael of Green Bay had the old record, along with Nolan Smith. Remember him, the kid for Kansas City.
Personal foul, blocking below the waist. 58.
58 would be Joe. Well, wait a minute, on the other side.
Tell you something, 108 yards, you think of that. Wonder what he's thinking when he's coming out of the end zone. I bet you everybody's motioning at him to stay in the end zone.
That's Dennis Franks, by the way, that was guilty of that foul. Moving the ball back down to the 19. Comlo going to try it again. Got his man wide open, David Hill, the big tight end, and Hill trying to get the first down. Hill's forward progress out to the 29-yard line. Big, strong guy out of Texas A&I, fourth-year man.
There's a rosin bag. That's what I accuse him of having notes, and he puts it down in his pants, in his sock there. It's pretty smart, isn't it? Hey, a little crossing pattern. Hill coming underneath. You see him right there coming underneath the linebacker coverage after the other receivers had cleared the zone out. And he makes a good run with it. Picks up very close to a first down.
Just short of it. Second down, less than a yard to go. Horace King trying to get it, and he got the first down out to the 30-yard line. Barry Bennett, 63, making the stop for the Saints. So King getting the first down. Let's look at a final now. Tampa Bay, they're now 6-2 after defeating the Packers.
Well, they'd lost 2 in a row last week.
Tampa Bay staying on top in that Central Division of the NFC. And I'm sure every time Detroit sees one of those wins, they think about what their season could have been this year.
Well, that's right. I saw him down on the field, that quarterback, Gary Danielson.
Combo, play action, time to throw. And Gene Washington on the near sideline. And that will be another first down. The ball out to the 44-yard line.
Comlo makes a good throw here again. He's made some good throws. He had that costly interception, though. It stopped the drive the last time they had the ball in their last possession. Very accurately thrown ball in.
I'm impressed with this guy. Even though he threw that one interception, he has great poise. He's throwing the ball with authority. 19-yard pickup to the 44-yard line. He led his team Delaware to the college division title. 6'2", 200-pounder. That's Scott in motion. Scott's going to have the pass thrown to him to the 50-yard line, and he drags the tackler for what might be a first down. Eric Felton hanging on, and that will give them a first down to the 45-yard line.
They got a little offense going here. They send Scott in motion. As he ducks in, he'll just run a real quick out pattern. Ball's thrown very quickly. Catches the ball, almost breaks his tackle completely. If he does, he may run a long way with it.
Fred Scott, who's trying to obtain his medical degree from the University of Michigan in the offseason, played at Amherst. Cleveland having a struggle with Cincinnati.
Where they are, they've come back. They're going to lead 28-20. Brian Sight hit Ozzie Newsome, 27 yards for the last
down now at the 45. Comlo. Oh, he's shaking him up. He has Washington down the middle. Pass interference. Clarence Chapman tangled up with Gene Washington, and that's a play that Gene Washington used to make for the 49ers so many, many times.
They're going to have a pass interference call here. I think it was unintentional also. Here we have an isolation of Washington. You see the pattern. They're doubling the outside receiver. Belden Chase. What's your contact? right here there's going to be contact as Felton goes for the interception, trips him, almost makes it a great interception, but he made that contact unintentional. A big play for the Lions.
First and goal at the 5-yard line. The Lions trailing 17-0, but now with a chance as Comlo stirring him up. He's come out throwing, and he's thrown the ball with authority. And other than that long interception return of 52 yards by Tommy Myers, he has been almost picture perfect.
Done a good job. He's come in exactly what Monty Clark needed, someone to generate some offense.
Crowd here not liking that last decision, the pass interference at the 5-yard line. Comlo's going to throw it. Wide open Hill. Touchdown, David Hill. And the Lions are on the scoreboard.
Well, what a good play this is, isn't it? Little play action fake here. Hill goes across the middle. Another good throw. You see what a catch he makes. David Hill, underrated tight end, a very fine tight end.
And so the Lions have jumped back into this one. That was an 81-yard drive and 5 plays.
And you watch when that defense comes back on the field. They're going to be fired up coming back.
Well, they were fired up a while ago. They have played well in the second half. The Lions have come out of that dressing room a different football team. Here's Ricardo's point after attempt, a flag on the play. Let's see what that's all about. The kick was good, but a penalty flag thrown by the head linesman.
I think it's on the defensive team.
Defense offside, penalized on a kickoff. That's the point.
So the extra point, of course, is good. And the Lions now down 17-7 with 3 minutes, 17 seconds to go, third quarter.
If we could take you through the plant to show you what is new and let you see what's going on and watch the things we do. If you could see the cars and trucks we're working on for you, you'd say incredible. Ford, that's incredible.
Introducing the Incredible Ford Factory Tour. Come and see the incredible things we're doing to produce a new generation of more fuel-efficient cars and trucks.
If you could see tomorrow the way it looks to us today, you'd say incredible. Ford, that's incredible.
To take the Incredible Ford Factory Tour, write us for information.
Didn't take very long as Comlo throwing the football and eventually scoring on a 5-yard touchdown pass to tight end David Hill. Ricardo to kick off. Little guy from San Diego State. Last year had an excellent year, scoring 92 points, which was third best in the NFC. And an onside kick. And the Lions have it. The Lions have the football at the 48-yard line.
All right. What a play, huh?
Boy, that is a surprise.
Did the ball go far enough? Did the ball travel far enough? That's what.
Well, he fell on it far enough up the field, but he may have touched it before it got 10 yards.
May have touched it prematurely.
So what you have to do is the ball must travel 10 yards before the team kicking can touch it. Now, did he? Let's see.
Let's see if the ball goes 10 yards before it is touched.
Boy, it's close.
Yeah, see the line. He actually made contact with the ball before it went 10 yards. Therefore, they're not going to get the football.
You know, the same thing happened to New Orleans earlier this year in a game against Green Bay. A game that turned around on them. So illegal procedure against Detroit.
They're going to have to kick it again, huh?
Yep. But that really surprised me. I didn't any more anticipate that than anything.
I think it surprised the Saints too. Good play. Monty Clark's pulling out all the stops, isn't he?
Well, when you're 1-6, what do you got to lose, huh?
That's right.
So Ricardo will try it again. I'll say one thing for him. He really disguised it well. And now I'm sure he'll kick it off this time. You wouldn't try another one, would you?
Well, I don't know. I tell you what, I think they're prepared for it this time.
So he'll tee it up. 17-7 our score. Myers with an interception for a touchdown. The Lions have come back to score their own touchdown here in the third quarter. The enthusiasm in the second half really remarkable, especially by Detroit, as opposed to the first half. Rich Motte. Motte to the 25, 26-yard line. You can see how fired up the Lions are.
Little pressure coming on the Saints offense now. They had to get a drive going, keep the ball away. Manning's got to get them untracked.
There's Archie Manning throwing those 2 interceptions in the first half. We had 4 interceptions in the first half. We've had 1 in the second half. Mike Strawn now is back at the running back spot. Muncie, who we told you earlier, suffered a midsection injury standing on the near sideline. He may return, but right now Strawn and Galbraith are the running backs. From the 27, a first down, 3:05 to go, third quarter. A 10-point lead for New Orleans. Strawn with the football. He runs into some people. Ken Fantetti, who was hurt earlier in the game, was the guy that met him helmet to helmet, number 57.
Watch this defensive play here. They're not supposed to be able to play the run well. Well, they do a good job here. Doug English made a fine play. No running room.
Fantetti, they really had high hopes for him. He hasn't had that kind of year that they wanted. They used to call him the Sandman at Wyoming because he used to put people to sleep when he tackled them.
The Sandman.
Second down and 7. Pretty good pressure put on. Manning, long pass. Hunter with the interception. Icarus. That's 3 interceptions now for Archie Manning today. And the second interception of the day for Hunter.
Diagnosed perfectly and made a good play on the football.
There's Dick Nolan trying to steady down his offensive core. That ball will be at the 29-yard line of Detroit. As it looks like Hunter was shaken up on that, Sonny, when he came down with the interception. He's had all kinds of leg problems. That was the thing that bothered him last year and also this year. And there's Archie Manning with 3 interceptions.
Archie a little upset about himself. He made a good throw, but he actually had overthrown. I don't know if the receiver would have made the catch to begin with.
Threw it a long ways to Icarus. Well, on that, we've had some people inquiring about the onside kick. What happened was, and I think we mentioned this earlier, was a Lion player touched the ball before it went 10 yards. That's interfering with the ball, and you have a 5-yard penalty after that.
That's right. It has to go 10 yards, and we saw it on that replay where the ball was touched beforehand.
But anyway, the Lions got it back. Oops. And they, I'd like to be on the bottom of that. You've been on the bottom of a few pile-ups, haven't you?
Not that kind of pile-up.
Hunter now, he's coming off slowly. He's quite a football player out of Grambling. He started his career as a cornerback. There's Monty Clark giving him a pat. And then moved to the free safety. That may move him right back out there after today.
Well, you're looking at Comlo's stats. He's done a good job since coming in.
Only that one play. That interception to Tommy Myers. 2:19 to go, third quarter. Comlo is coming right back out and throwing the football. He's in trouble. Steps up. He had to get rid of that. Scott, the intended receiver, but he ducked the rushing lineman. Got an additional second or two and threw a bullet.
Boy, Barry Bennett really put some pressure on him that time. He had to duck and come up throwing.
We have a final. Baltimore defeated Buffalo.
Isn't that something? Buffalo's offense has been shut down the last couple of weeks.
Well, Burt Jones is back, and I don't think you need to see any more. It's a different football team with him. And the Jets over Oakland, that's a surprise.
That is.
Jets having to come from that short week after winning on Monday night. 2 big wins for them. Second down and 10. Combo with big pressure again, and he's going to be dropped by Don Reese. Reese, who has 1 sack this year, but really who's maybe their best pass rusher in a lot of ways. He's always back there. We're talking to Pat Hughes for the game. Says he has a nasty disposition.
He is, and they said he's a leader. He gives a lot of enthusiasm to the team. You see right here, boy, makes a good rush from the outside, a play action fake. And Mr. Comlo didn't have time to get set up to throw the football.
That's the 3rd sack today by the Saints. 2 by Grooms, and now, of course, 1 by Don Reese.
And we're coming into this game, had given up 17 sacks to begin with.
Saints have only had 11, so they're picking them up in a hurry. But you know that the Lions are going to throw the ball, so they're coming right out after him now. 3rd and 16. A give up the middle to Rick Kane, and Kane breaks it out. He's come up to the 40, and that should be a first down. Rick Kane, they crossed him up. Nobody expected that, and they get out of a hole.
Well, they knew they were going to be throwing the football here. They thought so, and that's why the draw play is a good call. It is a calculated risk, but it worked perfectly here, and they do pick up a first down. Good, smart call. You know, you make it a smart call when it works. If it doesn't work, it's not such a bright call, you know?
19-yard run to the 40-yard line, and the Lions, after that sack, able to come out of the hole. This is Kane again. Boy, he's running hard. Across the 45 to the 46-yard line, kind of limping, though, as he gets up.
You see the just a little playoff tackle. He breaks it. I think he takes a little bruise here because he comes up limping after this play.
Gain of 7. We understand that James Hunter, his injury is a bruised leg. He shall return. Leg cramp, I'm sorry. He suffered a leg cramp. And now from the 47-yard line, the Lions, 2nd and 3. Dexter Bussey, a lot of congestion, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down. Saints didn't let anything open up on that play.
Well, you can see what's the charge right here. Good defensive play. Fetterspiel coming through, closing down the hole. No place to run. That's the way the flex is played perfectly.
Well, they had a lot of black shirts waiting on him there.
Good execution that time.
And that's going to be the end of our 3rd quarter with the score. The New Orleans Saints 17, the Detroit Lions 7. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Meet Dr. Charlie Nichols, the world's greatest operator. But when he meets the girl of his dreams, she wants him to stop making house calls. The CBS Wednesday movie at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
This is CBS.